Okay. Who's on the iPhone here? iPhone. Who's an iPhone?
Is it me?
No, somebody's on iPhone. I don't know who's an iPhone.
I'm on iPhone.
Okay, so the person has changed already. Yeah. Good, good, good. Right. So you're welcome. We're going to start with some interview questions. I will always have for data governance. And very important we start early. Okay, right. I'm going to ask a few questions on strategy. And so this question will be based on strategic question. It will be based on strategy. Okay. It's a strategy-based question. So you will see from the right. On the chat box, there's a question there. What are the objectives of data governance strategy? First of all, what is strategy? Data governance strategy. What are the objectives of data governance strategy?
Okay.
Igor, can you inform Bob Manuel and others too?
Okay, sir. I will do that, sir.
And Rendo and Anthony and your wife and all right.
My wife is here. We are together, so it's okay. She will log on now.
Okay. And after Anthony and Lee. Okay. What are the objectives of data governance strategy? Very important because you as a data governance manager, you're going to ask you, okay, what is strategy for you too? It's very important.
I need to clean my phone. They're loud again.
Right? Anybody?
Consistency of data handling? Is it to do with just basically being consistent and integration of data? That's
Nicholas, what did you say?
So I said the standardization of data, so it makes it easier for people to understand it across departments, as well as integration of said data, so it's integrated within the company.
That's correct. That's a very good attempt. Any other person, please?
Hello, sir. Good morning, sir. Is it the accuracy to ensure the accuracy of the data?
Oh, yeah. Who is speaking?
It's Ramsey, sir.
Ramsey. You have to put Princess before Princess Ramsey.
Mrs. Ramsey, sir.
Can you get in touch with Mary?
Okay, I'll do that, sir.
Yeah, that's good. That's a very good answer. Mamadou say data governance strategy is to maintain processes, policy in order to keep the standards to manage and protect data. I love that. I love that as well. Mamadou. Yeah. Any other person? If your hand is up.
I was going to say the same thing, establish policies and processes to maintain accuracy, consistency, completeness of the data, to promote accountability. That's, for example, who actually owns the data. Also, to monitor and report any issues. So in other words, the data quality. Say, for example, a retail company, they would you have to report issues such as duplicate customer records or any data that is missing. So in other words, eliminating consistencies in that database by making sure all the customer names and addresses are properly formatted on the system. Helps facilitate regulatory compliance. In other words, for example, in a healthcare facility such as the NHS, patient records can be tracked and know who and who actually needs some sort of treatment or the other. So those are some of the things where by data, why data strategy. Those are some of the objectives of a data governance strategy to do things like that. Yeah. Support decision making, standardized data management, and all that.
That's a very good answer. Thank you for that. Any other person? Okay, Mamadou sent something again, which is very good. Yeah, any other person? Any other person? So, yeah, what does the word strategy mean?
It's long-term plan.
Long-term plan. That's very good. I love that. Long-term plan. That's very, very good. So if it's not long-term plan, if it is short-term plan, that's what then? So if it's not long-term plan, that means it's short-term plan. Okay. So short-term plan is called what?
Tactics.
Tactical, yes, tactical plan. That's
And is there a word? Is there a word for medium-term plan? I believe there is. I'm not sure.
Not to my knowledge, but I believe it have to be like something in between, isn't it?
Yeah, there is something in between. There's a word for.
Maybe when I grow up, I will try to.
I'm gonna look into it. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that.
So it's very important. Okay. Now, I want us to take it. You guys have actually said well. Mamadou also make very important point too, as others say, ensure data quality, data security, integration. Those things are anything in data governance can be a strategy. Depends on what the current situation of the enterprise is. So if you ask a question on that, what strategy can you carry out if we employ you based on our situation, based on our current something? So you can come up with different things after assessing, after having an access or and assessing the first 30 days of the roadmap. You will ensure that data quality mitigate against risk and also drive efficiency. Always remember that word, driving efficiency and ensure compliance is going to be your strategy. Just like people are campaigning for election or for a position, and during the election period, they come out with strategy. They come out with what they want to do. So what would be your drivers? And to ensure that when you are being employed or being in that position, we see that things will go well. So you're always going to have a strategy, long-term plan. So you discover that even people in most positions that are supposed to be 4 years, they already have a 10 years plan, 8 years plan. Why? Because they feel that maybe the first 10, they are just establishing, or they just carry out assessment. But then after that, they have to have a long-term plan so that there will not be too much investment in a short space of time. So it might have to be gradual. And when you lay the plan, people have to respect that the issue of the plan have to be monitored, and also there must be stability process of it, which is called feedback, and then within the short period, you post your results, celebrating successes by saying, oh, so quarter we have achieved it, so the economy has grown by so money. Very important. So drive efficiency and ensure compliance while you're trying to mitigate against risk and ensure data having integrity by having a very high quality. And by so doing, you have created a very valuable asset which people will buy into. So that's very good. Please don't play with that question. Do you understand that? Okay, now, how do you align, please? This is any question I ask you don't really. Thank you for posting that in Barrister. Mid-term plan is called intermediate planning. Other terms for mid-term planning includes organizational planning, activity planning, and tactical. I think it's quite different, but I think mid-term planning would be the right answer to that. Thank you, Pastor. Thank you, Barrister, for posting that. So how do we align data governance with business objectives? How do we do that? Any answer for anybody?
Yes.
Good. But Manuel?
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. Okay, by identifying data priorities that support organizational goals, such as enhancing customers' insight or meeting regulatory standards.
That's correct. That's the correct answer. Absolutely correct answer. Okay. That's the answer to it. Okay. I think I asked this question last week. Is that correct?
Yes, you did. Yes.
So I like people who has brain, like maybe when I grow up I'll be like you.
Actually add it down.
I only want to repeat that if people are actually having but you must get it. you must get it. So I'm going to repeat another question as well, which is very important. Strategy. I know why I always asking strategical questions and ethical, because nobody will tell you, say, define it, define that. No, they want to see that you are practicing, because that's why they pay you highly. So if you come in and they're not seeing you as someone who already practicing, they would believe that they're going to do a much job. And instead of them to spend money in training you, they want to spend money paying you already working. So this is how it is. So what metrics can you measure the success? Can you measure the success of data governance? So what metrics will you begin to measure the success of your? Don't forget, we're talking about success of data governance. What metrics will you use?
So you're looking at what the data quality scores are.
That's correct.
What the compliance rates are.
That's correct.
As compliance rates, what you put in place. Reduction in incidents. In the past, they've had more incidents, and you've been able to you'll be able to like see a difference in the incident.
Yeah.
Also, you're also looking at satisfaction from the users. So the feedback you're getting from your team and everybody, including stakeholders, from what you have put in place.
Absolutely.
So you know it's been effective.
Absolutely. Thank you. Now, this is how identifies the people who are ready to go for interview and whatever. Because anything I put here, those are very serious questions they ask. I'm going to employ someone. So you want to put a program in. You want to have a strategy in. Okay. Now, how do you ensure your strategy? How does it align with business goals? Okay. How do you measure if your program is successful? These are the things we always need to put in our hand. We put those things on the chat box and want everybody to always get it. I only repeated it. I have a reason why I do, whether people can recollect it. Please, very important. Okay? You should be able to tell anyone that, okay, you know what? For my strategy, I'm going to ensure this and that. On that basis, to measure, what are the measures to know whether I'm successful? It's still almost the same thing. Data, the scores that we're having, because you have a criteria to which you measure your every bit of the scope. So if you say data quality scope side, so you measure it from 1 to 5, and 1 being an havoc or an issue, and 5 being optimization. So you should be able to measure that data quality. And also our compliance, we should be able to measure it, the rate of which it goes. And reduction in incidents. That means like if it was articulating initiative one time, you say, oh, hereby errors were reduced, redundancy were reduced, a lot of inconsistency were reduced, and then improve satisfaction from customer insight, and it helps in strategic decision making. So these are the things that we're always going to be. So what is the difference between data governance and data management? I hope everybody has to get this. What is the difference? Yeah, always go.
One focuses on policies, while the other has to do with the rules that involves the execution of these policies.
Absolutely.
I don't know if that's okay.
Yeah, that is it. So absolutely. Okay. Are we all getting what is being asked over there? Are we all getting it? Hello, everyone.
I am, yes. It's given me a lot to go over though, but yes, I do. I understand. I understand it, but it's a lot. I've got to do research.
I asked the question, the same question last time we met. So these answers are very important. You have the chat box, copy everything there, always go through it. And even if you don't have the opportunity to do that, ask for the link for this video, and you're always going to be getting it. So very important. How would you define the scope of data governance in an organization? Don't forget we talked about scope. How will you? Minimally. Because if they're going to tell you you have a program, you have a project, you need to ask of the scope of the project. How will you do that? So basically, the scope covers what? Policy?
Yeah, policies, procedures, and then roles, and then responsibilities that will be assigned to
standards,
individuals. Then
standards and
standards too.
processes. Okay, related to what? To how data is being what? Managed and used. Very, very important. Okay, those are the quick question of strategy I have given to you. All right, and I try as much as possible to be spending a minimum of 30 minutes in question and answer for this thing, because as we begin to go on, we need to understand this perfectly. So I am going to ask question based on the we never find these questions everywhere easily, because I'm always speaking from the area of experience on that. I'm going to ask question on policies and compliance. Policy and compliance. Have you heard of something policy before, everyone?
Yes.
Yeah.
Good. 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 Right. Okay. What key policies should be part of data governance framework?
So you have privacy policy, you
Yeah.
have access policy,
Yeah.
you have retention policy, and then usage policy.
That's correct. Do we understand that? Hello, everyone.
Please repeat that for me, because I was just writing something down. I was writing down these notes, but repeat that last one.
Okay.
So you have data privacy policy, data access policy, data retention policy, data usage policy.
Those are the rules that govern. Those are the rules that govern it, basically.
So these are the key policies. So now I'm going to ask this question. Those questions have been asked last week as well. So I'm going to ask questions based on implementation and operation. Okay, implementation and operation. When you are employed, because I know some people are going to be ready to start to go for employment soon. And implementation, okay, and operation. So what are the key steps in implementing a data governance framework? Now you have been employed. What are the key steps you're going to carry out to implement it? Okay. You've been employed. What do you think you will do? Oladi Meji, are you there?
Yes, please. I'm here, sir. Good day, sir.
Hashim Bong, James, good day.
Trying to find my feet.
Yeah, okay.
Good day, sir.
How are you? Ramsey, how are you?
Good, thank you, sir.
Yeah, Ramsey, please do speak to me after the section.
Okay, sir.
Very
All right.
important. Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Okay. So now, what are the key steps in implementing a data governance framework? Key steps. You've been employed. Please don't play with this. So, what do you think if I give you some job to do? So, what would it be? Okay, Phil, you want to speak?
You'll define the goals and the objectives. Could be one
Yes.
of them.
Yes.
So what you do is you establish why do you really need that framework. You can also assemble a data governance team.
Mhm.
So the team will be stewards, data owners, key stakeholders,
That's
IT
correct.
departments and all that.
Mhm.
And then you can define what the standards and guidelines will be.
Okay.
And create a metadata practice to ensure that you can also develop some sort of training plan
Okay.
to implement those steps. So
Mhm.
what is the training plan? It could be that you would carry out things like surveys, or you organize workshops
Mhm.
within the company where you can invite everyone to attend a workshop and then tell them what you're actually trying to do. Say for example, in a customer service company,
Mhm.
if you want to improve the accuracy of the customer data for personalized marketing while
Okay.
ensuring that it's still complying with the GDPR, what you would do is you focus on the customer and data and sales data, and
Mhm.
then you would advocate for initiating importance to the leadership team. You would say, okay, these are the leadership team. These are people who will drive the whole thing forward.
Okay.
You assemble the people who will actually be part of that. It could be the
Mhm.
IT manager, like I've said before. It could be the
Mhm.
marketing VP, or it could even just be new people who you've employed to become data stewards. But the key thing is making sure they get some sort of training, some training workshop. The training
Okay.
workshop might be done in-house by yourself, or it could be that you're sending them to some specialized people to give them that kind of training. And
Mhm.
then you could also develop some sort of policy documents where you could
Mhm.
say, right, all the customers' data for this
Mm.
particular thing, like in the NHS, we have some sensitive data that is
Mm.
not supposed to be given to members of the public, whereas there's some data that is open to members of the public. So,
Mm.
of course, things like date of birth and the rest, and history of the person's medical illness is not meant to be available to everyone, just the person and the doctors involved. But there's some other parts that you can say, okay, so person comes for treatment and we know he's suffering from that and that and that. So it really depends on what is classified as sensitive. You could
Okay.
also say in that policy, you could also define how the standards, how the data will be implemented, the standard and guidelines. So it could be that you would say every time it will be first names before last name. It could be
Mhm.
middle name. It could be that all the email addresses must have the at in there. So it
Mm.
could be ife at so.
Mhm.
Because if it doesn't come up that way, that means that data could get affected. And then you can also do some sort of assessment too,
Mm.
where you check to see that there's no duplication and all that. So there's so many things you can do when it comes to that.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. You went very far. Maybe when you are prompted to go further, you read it that way. I think you have touched just the points, which implies that you have to define your objectives and the goals, and assign rules. We should talk about responsibility the other time. You create policies, which of course the policies has to be well created because you are implementing them. Okay, so you need tools to implement and then monitor progress as assigned. That's very good. This is now operation and implementation. So, right, you have a strategy already. You have a you know to operate with. So on that basis, you have to carry out the operation. So how do you kind of how do you, as a data governance manager, how do you establish data governance rules within a team? How do you establish within a team? how do you establish? When you talk about establish right now, we have moved from having access to asset and assessment, and you're establishing now. So you need a roadmap. So how do you establish data governance rules within the team? Okay. Let me just give a quick answer to that because of time constraint. I need to finish some areas that are very important, or if anybody wants to speak, no problem. Say, what do? You assign roles based on the responsibilities, like data ownership, stewardship, and custodianship. So you want to assign roles. Someone has the responsibility of being data ownership. You know, when you're working with a very big enterprise and you have functional departments, you're trying to have data owners, steward, different stewards, and then you assign their roles to them. So we have data analyst as a steward as well. We have visualization officer as a steward as well. So as such, stewards is involved in visualization work. And as a steward, as a data analyst steward, we have to analyze data. As a head of data as well, you know the rules and the responsibilities, and as well you're assigned to them. So this is how you establish data governance rules within a team that you build up. Very important. And I'm going to repeat these questions and another day, so you will now see whether I just want them to be in. Okay. These are very important questions that you must. The reason why they will pay you high is because they know that you know what you're doing. You will be able to work as competent person. We're able to work with very minimal aid or no aid or without aid or support. So what challenges do organizations face when implementing data governance? I think everybody should know this.
Sir, please, just before you go to answer the next question, I just want to ask a stupid question. I just want you to clarify it. The difference between ownership, the stewardship, and custodianship.
Ownership is someone who actually owns the data in an organization. For example, if you have like a big company and we have maintenance department, we have accounting department, we have a HR department, we have different kind of departments. So in your program, after speaking with any of them, especially the head of department, could be owner of the department.
Okay.
Owner of the department, but not some of them. Anyway, I don't want to talk much now because if I'm talking much, yeah, I think I will answer the next question, which of course I don't want to. So then stewards could be someone who is working with the ownership, who is in charge of like operation of it. Okay, the person can be doing the work, and can be doing the work as a steward, enforcing every activities, but the signature of the enforcement comes from the ownership. And then custodian of data could be the head of data, who is the head, or who's the custody of the data as well. So depends on how you define rules and responsibility within your organization. Whichever may be the case, you know which role you are assigning to and which responsibility you are giving to people in terms of organogram. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah. So what challenges do organizations face when implementing data governance?
Lack of objectives, sir.
Sorry?
Resistance to change. Nobody likes change.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This one, please do not miss this, because there will always going to be a question on this on any interview. And if you are the one interviewing people, please try to, because if you don't, you may not know the best of that person you are interviewing. This question is always coming. Okay, in your initiative, can you tell us the challenges you have faced? And that is why you see me when I'm actually training, I always bring example, definition, example, challenges, and resolutions. So keep all those training, very important. You know, yeah, resistant to change. Okay, to changes. Then also lack of clarity in roles and inadequate resources. So that's why I said I don't want to answer the other question further, because that's going to be a build-up for the next question. So in most cases, some people always trying to run away from their responsibility. From responsibility when you try to give to them, the reason why they say, what is in it for me? So some of them don't want to take responsibility. They can't just try. What would you do on that? How did you mitigate against that? What would be the next question if you are asking interview? How will you ensure that those things are mitigated against? So it's very important that you can say training, you did workshop, inviting them in, and they will buy into your program, and then by so doing, they will say, "Oh yeah, let me be." Okay. So how do you ensure accountability in data governance process? How do you ensure that? How do you ensure accountability in data governance processes? This is more or less like the same question. So accountability and responsibility, you know what that means. Cascading and going up as well.
You can make sure everybody is aware of their roles, whatever role they are playing. So everybody's accountable for whatever responsibility they've got, and making sure it's properly monitored.
That's correct. So is that understood? Is that understood? When you have organogram put in place, we have responsibility, we have accountability. So you have to define rules clearly and monitor adherence to policy. And people will be accountable for what they are expected to.
Also, making sure the people who are involved are well trained, because some people resist any form of change because they haven't been properly trained in whatever system is being used. So they will say, "Well, it's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's not it's someone else's problem." So, if you ensure that everyone is responsible, then it will go well.
Okay. Thank you so much for that contribution. What tools or platforms support data governance? What tools?
What do you call it again?
You want to say?
Just hold on, yeah. What's called it?
You downloaded it. You downloaded it in your system already.
No. Yeah. That's why that's one. But Tableau. There's one that's Tableau, Power BI, and then
in most cases, that those data analysis, and this thing is Power BI, Tableau, and we have a lot of them. But they also they support data governance as well. You know, data governance dealing with policies a lot with our informatica.
You also have the grandfather of them, which is Excel, because most of them are actually taken from the Excel spreadsheets.
All of them, not most of them, all of them. It has the the build of that as well. Okay, in them. So without that, you can, they only customize it to suit there are a lot. If I can tell you, they are more than 40 anyway. So it depends on which one that they use. But a data analyst, don't forget to have MySQL, Power BI, Tableau, and Domo. Yeah, please. In fact, from here, you must learn this to Power BI and MySQL. They are almost the same. So when you do that, you can't be a data governance without knowing tools. Okay? Very important. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, can I ask a question? So in your team, you have a data and analysis expert. I don't know if that's the right word for it in your team, right? But you, as the governor responsible for the data governance, should also be able to be very familiar with these tools.
I can tell you that's the difference between this training in this place and others. What they will do, in order they will collect 5,000, 10,000 from people. They won't train them to the way we train. Okay. We train people on data governance to also know how to analyze data, which you come up become a data analyst as well. And if you are governing data and managing the data you're governing, and the person who is a steward, what's of course data analyst, who's also a steward, comes out to tell you this is how it is, and you don't know, anything given to you is what you will take.
Yeah.
Which is not too good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So because at the end of the day, you are managing the data, and the data you manage will not produce integrity. And where is it from? Where is it from? It's from data analyst. And the visualization officer now visualize it. So they have for the stakeholders and data business analysts want to take decisions, and the decision might not be right because something happened. So as a data governance manager, you should know what has been managed. We should know what has been analyzed. That's why in the training here, you should be able to have about 3 jobs or 4 jobs. 4 jobs minimum, because you know so much than what our neighbors can know. So it's depends on people. Okay, so, and very important. I like that question. Okay. Right. I'm gonna Can you see what I'm sharing, everyone?
Yeah, I can see it.
Yes, please.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now,
I'm sorry, I have a question again. No, sorry, dragging you back.
Yeah.
So this is based on training. So the training that you are going to train people who should be working who should work in your team, and those that you hold accountable as people that you give the training, right? Is it good to train like more than one person, or maybe you identify one person who will be like the primary person, and then somebody like a backup? Should, in case this primary person is not around and something is missing, okay, these two people work together, and if this person does not catch it or something is missing, this person can take that responsibility. Because where you have data given to different persons responsible for managing different data, this person, like somebody in HR, might not be concerned with something that has to do with somebody in maybe engineering or something. You understand? So is it okay to put in that strategy where you have like 2, but identify one as a person who will be the head, so you don't have a slip or something that can break you down?
Absolutely. You're already talking about the management of of your program in terms of the governance. So the thing is that when you lay out your program, you also need to think about how the various pillars and architecture of the program will be. And if you now have identified the capacity that needed for your program, you're definitely going to know what to do to ease your program running and ensuring your the integrity of data you want to carry out to meet a business goal. So, for example, you may mention of a HRO. The head HRO becomes a custodian. I mean, data owner. Okay, and he or she will assign a steward within that HRO that are responsible to data and policy implementation of it. So you already looking at what data that are being done, carried out in HRO, in engineering, or whatever, if there's no breach because there are serious security. So you know your contact to meet up right there. So you might not go to the steward. You can always have a threshold of timing of saying, okay, bi-weekly or quarterly or just depends on the complexity of data you are handling and how you can reach out to them. You must put in place, if there is someone that is not available, the other one can take it over. For example, you are a data governance manager and you have data analyst. Your analyst is not around and something has to be done. What will you do for Manuel?
Yeah, I know, because I can also do that part, but like you said, there's some other person that should deputize that person when he's not around, able to see what it is. But in case, well, if we don't have that, I can go in and do that while before pending when he's back, because it's my ownership, it's my responsibility, so I can't leave it to.
That shows you, that's where you have capacity. That means you are employed with what is called economic. You're adding economic value to every aspect of your program, and because you have the capacity. If you don't have the capacity, the timing that it will take to employ someone, data analyst, will be that means your data may be suffering. Something that need to be done quickly for strategic decision making. So you can just fill the gap. And this training can be continuous, like as you said now. I think everybody's hearing here. So anything can happen to anybody. If anybody is not around, have you ever built a team to take up one's job if it's not around? It's just like in a school or in NHS, a nurse is not coming to a shift. You ask for a bank nurse to come. But if you don't, a data analyst issue, it's very difficult to even recruit somebody, talking about recruiting an agent, somebody who's an agent to come over to fill a gap. It's a long process. So it better just make sure people are trained as soon as you come in. Put it in your program. I'm speaking to everybody here because if you put such person in the program, even a visualization officer, you can also train the person to become a data analyst, okay, as well, in case the real head of data analyst or is not around, one can fill the gap. It's good you ask that question. So it's very important. You are the one managing. You have to make sure you manage your system very well because they're already budget on your management. So it's difficult to recruit a data analyst, even data governance manager. So it's not like, so a teacher didn't show up today. Can we have a teacher from that agency, please, just to, fill the gap? No, it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not easy.
So this can also help you, guide you when you're making that decision on data security and privacy. Those who should and those who should not have access to data.
Absolutely. Okay, absolutely. I can tell you, it's an issue, very big issue. Okay, sometimes some of you, if they're going to employ you in some places, they're going to do a lot of check concerning you. You understand? Even if they want, if some companies within City of London in London, because City of London different from London. They have different police, they have different kind of operation, they have different things. People can be living in London, but some of them haven't really experienced what is operational within City of London. There's a city inside London for City of London. They have different police. Even the king can't enter City of London without permission.
Yeah, it's basically got its own jurisdiction. It's quite unique. There's only 3 places like that in the world. You have London, is it Washington DC, and
Yeah.
Vatican.
Absolutely. So many years ago, anytime I'm doing some engineering work in City of London, they already know that this person in a day before they already know that this person will come to City of London and he will park a specific place. I will put on my distinct engineer in operation. They already know the person. So with you, some of you gonna be working within City of London, they will do DD check on you. Even if you're not careful, they will even do DD check on your family, even to Nigeria, to everywhere you are, to work in a place. So such person, because you're going to handle data, very strong things. Okay, that is why you don't just put people to work easily. It's not plug and play. So on that basis, as soon as you have a program, please quickly train people very, very fast in case you have situation, because you are the one governing the thing. We do not allow data to suffer. It's a valuable asset. Thank you. Ask that question, okay. All right. Okay. If you look at the chat box, Barrister put also room is categorized as a country when you have Italy there. So this is how it is. Right. So this is mastering the blueprint of success. Very, very important. And it's data architecture, principle for modeling, warehousing, and integration. Okay. What does that mean? I'm just going to give a very brief introduction of it. So we know decision making in modern times are data driven, and the architecture of data is actually the blueprint of success. So it requires a structural foundation. So I want us to, I think I should underline this. It's very important. If you want to build a house, we all need foundation. Is that correct? Ramsey, is that correct?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Yes,
So,
sir.
okay, it is, let me give you a very short story. 2 people plan to build a house, and they started at the same time building, excavating and having the foundation. So in no time, one of them finished the house and was throwing a party, where a kind of opening party. And the other one went for the opening party. They were serving drink, and the man sat down. Instead of them to serve drink for him, they jump him to the next person after him. They were bringing food, they would jump him, give to the next person after him. So it became very bitter, and they were kind of mocking him. Why are you here to celebrate? The opening of this house. You started the same time. Why didn't you finish, or you come here to come and celebrate? The man left and went home. Behold, his premises are actually cordoned off by fence that people can't see what was going on. When this man was celebrating his house, the man kept on digging and digging the foundation. So behold, when the man had finished, they opened the fence. It was a skyscraper. So can you tell me the moral of this? Did you hear the story at all?
Yes.
Okay.
Still trying to think what the moral is. So maybe I should close my house off and fence it and keep digging to build a skyscraper.
What is the moral of this story?
A strong foundation
Strong
will
foundation.
support
A high edifice.
yeah.
Okay.
So if you're
I
thinking
can see very clever people in this place. I think when I grow up, I'll be like them. So, structural foundation matters. Whatever you want to do on earth, it requires you having a very strong foundation. So, like Barrister said, there's nothing like solid foundation, which is preparation. So, the kind of training you're receiving from here is strong to the point that when you find yourself in working, you think you have an experience up to 5 years. Because if you can really definitely follow what you have been trained, you will never wait. You will be interviewing the person who is interviewing you. So we need beings, we need structures, we need beings to be in place to hold firm your program. So the architecture of data governance is actually the blueprint for success. You want to measure your success, and there is no beings and structure put in place to make sure there is success, then it cannot shape your life, your life program, which is the program you're putting in place. So the structural foundation shapes how you collect, you store, you harness your data assets. Data is an asset because it's a valuable asset. So anyway, so data-rich landscape, any organization must understand and implement the core principles. So there are core principles. Can I underline this, Bob Manuel? Core principle of architecture. Okay? Core principle.
yes, sir.
Very important. And what are the core principles? What are the core principles? What are the core principles?
Data modeling, data warehousing, data integration.
Please, you need to get this. Very, very important. You need to get it very important. So we'll be able to explore these principles and reveal the real world impact of effective data architecture. Please get this very, very clear. Okay. I'm going to ask questions on all these things. Okay. So now the power of what? Data architecture. Number one, data what? Modeling.
Modeling.
Data warehousing, data integration. Okay. Now it could be Mandela, but I want you to know the modeling is at the core of data architecture. It lies with a process defining the structure of the data. Structure of what? The data.
Data.
Okay. And it helps organizations create a clear what? A clear and organized representation of their data asset. So you must have to represent your data and also organize it well. So that's the modeling. Okay. For instance, in an e-commerce platform, data modeling defines how product information, customer data, and other history are where structured and related. History are well structured and related. So now you have e-commerce, for example, and you see data products, and you see customers and other. How can you have them structured and related?
So come back person again.
Okay. Look
So
at
you
it.
come back with the question.
The question is that in an e-commerce platform like CRM, for example, or whatever, on e-commerce, how do you ensure that product information, customers, and order, that is product order, you see, customer data, cost product information, and product order history are structured and related?
So if you have your data structure, you should be able to see what the customer is buying, what kind of customer is buying this product, how many of this product is being bought at so time, history. So when I mean so time, if you purchase more of this during the summer and more of this purchase during winter, I mean all that your table should be able to relate all that together when you look at it. So gives you like a structured thing.
Okay, and then you relate them together as well.
Yeah, you relate them because you'll be able to see. So this, let's say, if it's age, this a particular age variance from this age to age buy more of chocolates, and by so and so time of the year they buy higher quantity of chocolates compared to by so and so time of year when they don't need that. How many of the persons you have coming to buy coming to this to a mental store during summer compared to when it's winter? So it's all related, and you'll be able to see that when you're structured data set.
That's good. Really, really good. So that is why you see, sometime when you have that's why you see when you keep on buying something, and you will see that the company itself with algorithms will know that you like buying this thing. Say, oh, long time we have heard from you. This thing is available. There's reduction in it, because they know your history and it's related to what you'll be buying. And they know the product information that you do buy. They value you as a customer. They will say, oh, as a value customer, we want to remind you that this product you'll be buying has been reduced, or there's new one that has come. You see, because you have modeled it that way in your program. Very important. Okay, that's good. Thank you, Bob Manuel, for that answer. So we have what's called data warehousing. It's the art of designing and building repositories that efficiently do what? Store, organize, and manage data for analysis and reporting. Do we understand that?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Can you give me an example of that? This can be one of the initiatives you can bring out when you are asked a question in your interview. Yeah.
There's an example which you have given there.
I know.
The retail industry, data warehouse,
Yeah.
consolidates data from various sources such as sales, inventory, and customer information, providing a holistic view for decision makers. So in other words, they're getting the data from their sales, they're getting the data how much customers have been buying, they're getting it from their inventory books, they're getting it from their customer information. So it will be like any big shop or supermarket. It gets the data from various sources. Sometimes they sell online, so they will get information from their online themselves. They sell probably they do deliveries. They will get information from that deliveries. Then you also have people who come inside physically into the shop itself to buy. So they consolidate all the data put together. Sometimes it might be the same customer who could be buying online and buying in the shop and buying and ordering via a catalog. So they put all that information together, and with that information, they're able to get a descriptive analysis or historical analysis of whatever is going on in that shop.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So any other person? Any other person? Okay, do we understand this?
Yes.
Are you sure, everyone?
Yeah, yeah.
Good.
So,
Good. There must be repositories. That is, this is how it is, where how information will be stored. Standardized information, you organize them very well, and manage the data for what analysis and reporting. So if there's no repository, it will be difficult for you to store and organize. And then data analysts coming in to come out, manage their analysis in terms of carry out analytics, and then visualization will take place before reporting. So if things are not well done, it will be difficult. So it's a typical example that have been given by Versware and the one I have put there. So in the retail industry, if your hands up.
Yes, I was going to say further to that, that once they've got all the data, so they probably know if a buys physically in store, she buys online, she buys from the catalog. That way, they can put all the information under a fence. Okay, this is what she buys all the time. And based on how she's been buying, it means she likes XYZ all the time. Let me use an example of winter boots. So probably I've gone into the shop, I have bought winter boots. I have ordered winter boots online. I have ordered it via the catalog. Every time they want to sell winter boots, automatically they send a link to me to say winter boots are available. And these are the kind of winter boots we know you're always buying. So that way they're able to they're able to manage better their system and able to target, like what someone said earlier on about chocolates, able to target each customer better based on implementing that data warehouse. And with that one, they're able to understand various customer behaviors, various consumer behaviors. So, for example, I'll take, say, for Barrister Emmanuel on the call now. They will say, okay, Barrister Emmanuel likes buying things for cars. So therefore, all our adverts going towards Barrister Emmanuel will be based on car sales, car parts, car this, car that. But everything going to Ife will be based on boots, winter boots. She likes this winter. So they're able to target their campaigns even better based on what they've got in their repository.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that example as well. Barrister put something. Not too sure. I think. Okay, so I think Barrister is saying something that
let me give Barrister, sorry, I know we are not talking about that, but let me give Barrister some information on Tesla. So you know the Tesla vehicle is an electronic, Barrister, this is not talking about your Tesla now, but just for you to be
aware.
Extra careful and to be aware. So some people had an accident with a Tesla. Unfortunately, there were 4 of them in the car. 3 lost their lives because with Tesla, it's electronic. And once it breaks down, everything electronic about that car breaks down. So they hit a barrier on the road and they couldn't get out of the car because electronically it had shut down. So there was no power. And Tesla have said that if there is no power, you can't open your doors, you can't open anything about the car. So the battery started heating up and it resulted in fire. They couldn't get out of the car. Even trying to get out manually, they couldn't. So until someone came then, broke one of the windows and he was able to get one of the ladies in the car out through the window. But unfortunately, because of the extent of the fire and this disorientation of the lady he pulled out through the window, they were young people. He didn't know that there were three other people inside the vehicle. So just so you're aware, and there's a plan. I think there's a plan by Tesla to start recalling some of their vehicles, because that's obviously a safety hazard. But you could look down it this way and say that that's a concern, and sue Tesla to say, so if anything happens, people are likely to be trapped in their car. So that's one takeaway.
Yeah, he just sent something right now that imagine getting information concerning the Tesla. Could you imagine? But where I can tell you that Elon Musk is no more going to produce electric cars. So producing a new engine to be driven by water. So I think they're going to work on the existing one and getting sorted out. And he's working on those data. They have the repository anyway. They'll be able to work that. Engineering is always a continuous process and improvements, innovations taking place. So they have to work on, and then once the data are logged in, they have to work to mitigate against unnecessary things that causes such accident. Okay, let's look at the third aspect of it, which is data integration. So this is very important, especially those who are working in the fintech and NHS. So it's very important. So thank you, Barrister. Data integration is the bridge connecting the disparate data, means different kind of data sources to provide a unified and consistent view. Oh, very, very important. Please, I want us to know this. So this ensures the flows of data seamlessly within an organization. We have, for instance, in healthcare institution, like NHS. Ramsin, are you still there?
Yes, sir. I'm still here.
So you can say something about this, definitely. How do we relate? We have some doctors and nurses here and those who work in healthcare. We discovered that some people, if every patient could, if you go to dentist or you go to emergency, something will always happening from one to another. Can somebody relate anything to this effect?
Yes, when you go for maybe you go to the other day I went for an X-ray, and within so the X-ray department was different from where I was being seen because I had an injury to my leg, and within 20 minutes of me going for an X-ray, the other lady at the other end, at the front end, said, "Right, your results have come back in, and there were no broken bones, just your tendons that were a bit damaged. So, but no broken bones. So, which was quite good because as soon as I had done before, when you have an X-ray, you probably would have to go home and come back, and then you get a result like 3 maybe working days after or something. But now there is adequate data sharing between departments. Lab results are available to the doctors as soon as possible now. So there's almost real-time analysis between patients' information being put on from one end to the other. So it's able to make sure multiple systems to a single unified view to improve patients' care. You see your GP. By the time you get to your GP refers you to a doctor in the hospital. By the time you get to the hospital, all your information which your GP had put on the system is already being seen by the doctor at the other end. So so they're able to integrate their data adequately. Same thing too with a lot of our banks. if you call the bank now for one thing, you could probably you're speaking to the bank manager or you're speaking to the bank in London. By the time you finished and you want to speak to the bank manager in bank in Liverpool, all the information on the system from the bank in London is already on the information on the system for the bank in Liverpool. So it helps a lot with various things, like if you are doing some application or the other, all the information has already been integrated because the data is put on there and the data has been correctly formatted, correctly transformed, correctly processed. But of course, in cases where where is the other way around, where the data is not being adequately shared, then it's a problem. Like this last week, sorry to digress. Last week, my brother took my uncle to the clinic in Delta State. The clinic said they wanted some information and they needed to do a biopsy. They did the biopsy and then told my brother to take the biopsy to Warri to get get it tested and done. I said, for Christ's sake, why can't the clinic do it and get the results at once? Because it was then I found out that you even have some labs who don't have adequate testing facilities and they just put up all sorts of results. They copy and paste people's results, putting people's lives at risk.
Oh,
That's evil.
that is something.
Sorry.
Is that true?
Yes.
So that's evil.
Very evil. So
Yeah,
you're copying and pasting people's results because you're
God.
trying to make quick money, or because you don't have instead of saying we don't have the facility to carry out that kind of test, you just decide, okay, because A is come with this kind of complaint before, and this was the result. Let's just copy the results of A and put it on B and send it off.
Hey, Barrister, your hand is up. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I think what our CEO just said, that is a fact. I will add to that. I think I've given the example before of where ethics, especially in one of the countries in Africa, it's saying they don't see it as anything. I remember those days when we were at the law school, when it comes to ethics, medical doctors, lawyers, they are on top of it. But now it appears that they don't see it as anything. Can you imagine somebody going to the hospital and was told by doctors of a very renowned hospital in Lagos that he had diabetics, and at the end of the day, when the wife said, honey, why don't we go and have a second opinion in the UK, because they used to live here, they relocated to Nigeria, and at the end of the day, they found out that there was nothing, absolutely nothing wrong with this guy. All they just wanted is, the moment you say amputation, obviously you can imagine the amount they would have called. The doctors that was on duty, in fact, one of them was actually a guy, I think some of us, they know him. He was so ashamed that all the documents that they brought, everything was fake. So you can imagine how they would have amputated this guy's legs. In fact, the theater, everything was ready, the beds, everything was ready for them to proceed with the surgery or the amputation. So, and also to add to that, you were saying something, if it's really true that people, they use other people's results. It is. In fact, on Brekete family, I don't know how many of you are familiar with Brekete family. There are a lot of people that they've actually, in fact, this had happened to them. I remember my dad of blessed memory, when he went to the hospital, University of Benin Teaching Hospital, I went to the doctors. I said, what happened? The question he asked me is that, do you want to sue us? They don't know I'm a lawyer. In fact, that was actually why I went to study, do a master's in social work. Obviously, as a lawyer, you're an advocate, but as a social worker, you're advocate for the most vulnerable people in the society. I said this because when they gave him an injection, obviously they didn't check its medical records. They gave him injection and he went into coma. And that was how he passed. And there are lots and lots of cases like this. you know, and also to add to what my other contributor has also said, in terms of the innovation, creativity, and also technology, you can imagine in those days, when you want to transfer money to another account, they tell you that it has to take about 5 working days. But as you know, now, as soon as you transfer money, within a twinkling of an eye, the other party has received the money. So that's to tell you in fact, how data is, in fact, the evolution is so much, that the importance of data cannot be overemphasized. And there is this joke, my friend, or my brother, Francis Okumagba, he said that people are usually locked in a room in some countries, and in some companies like Tesla, they just want you to think, just come up with something new, something how to improve. Like the story, thank you for that example that you mentioned about the Tesla car that had accident. I didn't actually know about it before. Interestingly, I was actually thinking about this, that now that everything is electric, if anything happens, what happens? I didn't actually know about this before. I was just, that because everything about some of these electric cars, you just be wondering, that's why sometimes some people go for hybrid, you see. So at the end of the day, there are people, the point I'm making is that day in, day out, there are people that are working to improve technology, innovation, designs. So we should be part and parcel of this. That's why at RoboSac Academy, we cut across, we discuss everything. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
So can I add something before we go? So just on the integration, right? So we have this NI thing in Nigeria now. And with your NI, it's being linked to your passport, data in your passport, linked to your bank. So your biometrics are also linked. So if you have more than one account, everywhere you have accounts, it will link to it. So they've been able to get information across all banks that concerns one person. I don't know if they're trying to do something in the health sector, which I think they should do with that. It will help them be able to maybe govern this country better. And I think that should also help us if we're going to conduct a census, which they are looking at to do that next year, because it's all about data. They've not really realized the power of this data thing, but once it gets into full swing, all this corruption will be cut off. They'll be able to eliminate. Yes, yeah. But they never, once they know, they'll start to stop it. And if you watch when we do our elections, that's one of the major, they've known the importance of data in election, then they have to. The machines are there to do all they will do, but they intentionally don't use it. They just switch back to analog and do manual counting and tell you. And then INEC will come and apologize later. We're sorry, this, that, this. And the result will be announced.
Thank you so much. If your hand is up.
Yes, I was going to say before Bob Manuel, before he talked about corruption, I was going to say they will not allow it happen because the people at the top are too corrupt and they know what data integration would mean for everyone. But it's such a good idea if it can be implemented. And I don't know how far-reaching Bob Manuel is. If it's something that he can start putting suggestions in places. After all, we are 16 people on this platform. We are all data governance managers and analysts, and we'll be happy to work with the Nigerian government to start implementing things like this.
All right, thank you so much, Shefi. I'm going to lock all of you in one room now, as Emmanuel said.
Sorry, sir. Let me say something to what Barry says. Sorry, before you go, when he was talking about locking people in the room, I was going to say something, and it might not sound nice, but you can later think about it, right? So, one of the reasons why they created the education system was for so many reasons. They needed to stop people from thinking. So, the greatest asset you have as a human is the ability your mind has. If you think of anything in your mind, it can come to reality. Giving from above. Sure, there's no. So People who have realized that say, oh, this guy's okay. Example in the Bible, sorry for those who are not Christians. Example in the Bible, the people sat down and thought of building a house to go and meet God upstairs, and God had to quickly, he changed the data system, and they said they could not communicate with each other, right? So if you allow people think, the power in their thoughts is going to bring results. So what do you do? Put them in a system, tell them from this age and this age will be this, from this age will be this, and then give them a certificate. And then immediately you get educated, you are going to chase to have a job. And once you have a job, you stop thinking, they pay you salary, you have kids, you have that, and the next thing they tell you, you are retired. And one of the biggest word they use in deceiving people is called career. So that's what with damage. But the people who did this knew what they were doing. It's about controls, about governance and all that. So when he was saying, I was just smiling, but people will wake up, like he just suggested that if we could go ahead and do, and you'll be surprised at the results. That's just what I want to say.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Well done. Akibon James. James.
Hello, I can hear you, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, don't do what you're doing over there. I'm seeing your work here.
Yeah, sorry about it.
Okay, so don't forget I'm an engineer and I know what is here. So if anybody doing anything anywhere, I can see it here. So if you need whatever, you're always gonna get everything. As long as you are being trained, you get all materials. Okay? Is that okay?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Good. That being case, everything will be okay. Now, Archibald, Engineer Bob Manuel. You said it all, and I want you to understand that I made as I related to you guys, whether the last 2 times we met here, that the government meant me. Good luck, Jonathan. At that time, Emeka was the Senate president as well. So they sent a message to design a database for election. And my friend called barrister, my friend called Tony. So we came together to have a design, only to come back telling me the question they normally ask, which I know by my position, I don't subscribe to such. I told them, they asked, can it be altered? I said no. So they left and they went to Germany to get a German company. And the German company, they gave German company what to do so that they can amend. So, and it cost them about 4 times the amount of money we were to charge them. What we wanted to do is about integration, unifying both defense, schools, hospitals, companies, inner revenue, sensors together, that it will be able to be okay. The data across all our sector has to be unified in a way that you cannot tamper with it. So right from the time of birth of anybody coming in, they capture the data of a baby born and they look at the progressive years and whatever of such data. Okay, then we know how many people 18 years and above or 16 years and above who will be voting or whatever, who will not be voting. So the issue of carrying a sensor and begin to count animals and goats will not be there. Okay, because the way we try to design it. Everything is possible, as Bob Manuel said, with a willing heart. But since they are not willing, it will be difficult for it to say, but we can start from step in each state, liaising with your village. Every children born within their name should be captured. And then as you are capturing them, you give them incentive to make sure they feel very belonging that their data have been captured. And then the next local government area will begin to see that how it will help in appropriating resources and decision-making strategically. So from there, they begin to see that, oh, so within the population of so place, until it gets the entire country, entire state, and then the country. You know, like as you said, the power above trying to suppress it because they know what they are after. So that integration need to be done. Let's keep it in context because of the training. This is what happened in NHS. And if you go for emergency, your GP, they already know your history from your GP with your NI, your date of birth alone, only your date of birth alone gives the whole thing that has been integrated. But if the architectural structure in terms of integration is not done, it will be difficult. So in advanced country, because people call developed country and developing country, I don't other believe in that. I believe advanced country and advancing country. Because if a country is advanced, it's going up. All countries are developing. So in advanced country, you can easily you could be here. Maybe you move from Germany or you move from Canada or wherever. They can easily call up your data from Canada headwise. But it will be difficult to get that done in Nigeria. Even when a register for antenatal cannot be placed properly, they are writing a necessary book. That is, even they are writing with candlelight. So they may not know what they are writing. Look at the example you gave now, cutting a paste of similar things. That is not done. It is very, very, really bad. So let's just forget about that. Let's think about how integrating. If you are in charge of any program in terms of data, especially in fintech or manufacturing as well, and healthcare as well, always ensure that the program integrates with every other sector, where it still depends on the sensitivity of the data that you need to integrate anywhere. And also, even if you integrate, there must be security and authorized access to privacy and compliance as well. Make sure there's compliance. So what about the principle? What are the principles of data architecture? Okay. Hear your voice.
Let me mute myself. No, sorry about that.
Okay.
Yeah. You just asked a question now, though.
Oh, okay. I asked the question a long time. I think he's now you're coming from the Senate House.
No.
So, all right. What are the principles of data architecture? We have already the power at play right here, modeling, warehousing, and data integration. But what are the principles? The principle is standardization. You have to standardize the formats and naming convention is the foundational. For example, John Smith, it has to be John Smith throughout. John being the first name, Smith being the surname. So if you want to put Omo, Agege is the surname. So you now put Agege first before surname. The standardization is wrong already. You need to define the format, and you need to define the format, and also like the format of putting of sound. If you have to be sound, or sound will be or music, sound alone, audio. Only audio will be what? MP3. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay. If it is video, will be what?
MP4.
MP4. So if you form that standard, that's standard. If it's John Smith, surname before, first name before surname, that's it, maintain the same. Okay. If its date of birth is date, month, year, don't go and put year, month, and date. So you have to be standardized. This is one of the principles of architecture. It has to be standardized. Scalability is you have to have architecture robust enough for you to migrate, to move from one to another. So, and whatever you have to put together must be able to accommodate the growing volume of the data set you have. So it should be capable of expanding storage, especially if you are scaling from your state to maybe to iCloud, to cloud. They should be able to have the capacity to expand in terms of storage, processing power, or processing power. You know, when you have computer, so processors are not strong enough, but you're moving high capacity data to cloud, your processing power was very high. Okay. And
does that include the
integrating
backward integration as well?
backward,
Yes,
but backward
scalability.
backward integration, yeah. It's easier to have backward integration, you know,
Yeah.
than to have forward integration. Backward integration, you already have a storage to move the whole thing back in case of anything.
Okay.
But if you migrate it to cloud, if your system is not strong enough, it will be vibrating.
Of course.
Normally vibrating will be so slow in some things. And if it's slow like that, there's tendency for distortion, and errors could take place. But the main thing is going to take a long time.
Yep.
Okay. And your level of integration, because if you look at it now, you are scaling to cloud. Every other people you integrated your data, we should have the capabilities to involve with respect to your scalability. It's just like Android or iOS having a new operating system or operating system, and then the apps that people are having, they have to adjust very fast in order to fix bugs or to accommodate the new operating system. So this is how everybody that operating within that operating system, all those apps, they need to scale up in terms of their capabilities to meet up. Even if you have you're operating on Android or iOS and you are not updating your own mobile phone or your system to be very slow as well. So, and people will say, oh, you see, they are drawing the thing to be slow so that my phone will not work. They want me to come and buy, or they come and this, that. This is what it takes anyway. So, yeah. That's scalability. And must have time for that. We have the security, of course. This must be something that you must always think of, because no matter how you try to create integrity and quality assurance, if you don't have access control in terms of measurement, you have not safeguarded your information. So, and very important, you must talk about that. You must always put it as a very big measure, part of the principles, okay? And we have data quality assurance. While implementing validation checks, maybe data cleansing and data quality monitoring, put into cognizance that it plays a vital role in your decision making. Very critical indeed, because there's a difference between data quality and data quality assurance. Okay, there must be assurance that the quality you have flows, and it comes with validation checks. And on that basis, you know that your data quality is very high. Okay, for instance, in manufacturing, data quality assurance minimizes production defects and waste, because there's validation checks right from the day one. Have you ever seen where wedding taking place? Have you ever done wedding? Have you engineer Bob Manuel? You've done wedding before, isn't it? Have you done wedding before? Bob Manuel? You're not sure if you've done wedding before?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, I have.
Have you done underwater wedding before too?
No, sorry, I didn't get that right. You said welding. Is that what you said?
Yeah, I'm not talking about
No.
Yeah, I'm not.
No, I've not done welding before.
Okay. The first time I did welding was when I was in PTI, petrochemistry, many years ago. And we were taught how to just weld pipes together, pipes. Because in the oil industry, we are trying to work in the oil and gas. And we have to undergo different type of weldings. And as you weld, you also have to ship out some defects out, have to ship some carbons out. And you have to do what is called welding test, ultrasonic test of the welding joints. So, and to see whether there will be hole or there is local action taking place that have taken place during the welding process. So we have to ship that. If there's internal local action, you have to cut the weld and start over again. So there are systems of welding that you make sure there will not be local action within the welding. And have you seen where people have welded, they use hammer to hammer the paper to make sure things are out? They are doing that in order to remove trace of carbon. Very deceptive. Anything can happen, and it can make the pipe burst through that joint. So we very important to do, and even it's easier to weld underwater. When you weld the two pipes inside water, say, how can we weld underwater? What is going on the ground underwater welding? And you think the area will be shocking. No, it might not shock. So there are prevention. So why are we doing that? So have assurance, to have validation checks of what you're doing. So also in data quality. So data quality assurance have validation checks, whether what the quality we put in place is working. So avoid defects and what? Waste. Where one of the standard is you have to be flexible and agile, and very agile. Okay, the flexibility ensure for organization to respond quickly to market shift. If your architecture is too rigid and people are moving to cloud and you say no, and and you're not shifting, you have not designed your architecture very well to accommodate the shift, the migration, the market shift and trends, okay, and emerging opportunities. You have to be very flexible in your design. It's just like when you're doing data quality, or you have to have, or maybe you work in a CRM, platform. You want to have tolerance. You need to have tolerance and clearance. Yeah, manual, you should be able to know that as an engineer. So if you don't have flexible, or let's just say, okay, talking about a bridge construction. So you don't make bridge to be too rigid. You must pave way for expansion and contraction. Otherwise, a bridge is very rigid. During expansion, it might have torsion or stress and strain relationship, having a problem there. Should be able to accommodate within the range and limits of flow. So that's as it. The only thing that you don't have clearance for and tolerance for is when you have an precise manufacturing, like when you are manufacturing needle or an aircraft, an airspace dynamics vehicle, like a spaceship. So any part are precise, no tolerance, precise as it goes. So this is how it is. So, but when you talk about data, you must have flexibility and also prepared to be, to respond immediately to business needs. Okay, is that understood, everyone?
Yep.
Let's look at the real world situation. Okay, for example, Amazon's recommendation engine. Amazon employs sophisticated data modeling techniques, very sophisticated indeed, to analyze behavior and preferences of people, especially customer, feeding their recommendation engine. Just taught them, and this data architecture principle has driven substantial revenue through a personalized shopping experience you have within Amazon. Walmart inventory management. They have warehousing and integration architecture allow them to efficiently manage and replenish inventory in real time, okay, across thousands of stores, okay? This has led to improved customer satisfaction and cost savings because real time, you don't have much problem. So someone can take this as a case or as an initiative as well if you have ever worked in an inventory control system. Okay, we have healthcare analytics. In the healthcare sector, data architecture principle enable hospitals and research institutions to integrate electronic health records and clinical data and research findings, leading to better work, patient care, treatment outcomes, and drug discoveries. This is real world issue. We can have more real world impact on architecture, proper data architecture. Okay, do we understand that, everyone?
Yeah.
Good. So in conclusion, okay, the architecture actually unlock the full potential of data in this data-driven age, okay? And data modeling, data warehousing, and integration are the key architecture. So organization can lay the foundation of accurate analysis, have an informed decision-making, and have a competitive advantage over their competitors in the same industries. So if you're able to master the principle that have been mentioned, if you can tell me what are the principles?
Data standardization.
Data standardization, yes.
Data security.
Data security, yes.
Data scalability.
Yeah.
Quality assurance, flexibility, and agility.
That's correct. Okay. So if you can have all these principles, if you can master this principle, you will ensure that data becomes a valuable asset, that's what everyone needs to. Let me put this here. Okay, no matter how it is. So rather than a challenge to be overcome, paving way for sustainable success in the data-driven world. Is that okay, everyone?
Yeah, it is okay. Yeah.
Okay. Any question, please?
If I may ask, where does AI and machine learning (ML) play in these different rules of the principles of data assurance, data scalability, data, in fact, in the principles of data architecture generally? Where does AI play?
Every aspect of the data architecture is what they mention engineering, AI engineering can do, or AI can do all. Depends on how you prompt. If you are the one that are going to do the prompting, and if you are going to be the prompting, you must also define what you are prompting, because you can't prompt in data engineering. AI cannot do anything. So when you prompt it and align it with that data-driven, AI data-driven, then it will be, it's part of the assurance you're going to be having, because you are the one who's going to do the same thing. Part of the data quality assurance you're going to be having, because what you have done, you printed everything and make sure things are done in terms of security, flexibility, and agility. You have to respond to ever-changing opportunities. Then you have validation checks in all what you have put together in terms of principle of the architecture. Then automatically you are good to go. And don't forget also, that's another software that you will incorporate in your data in order to have, in order to avoid risk and non-compliance issue with security.
And in addition to what you're saying, I think it's already been implemented anyway. I think I gave the example last week of when you join a new organization, automatically there's something that comes and tells you, there's something on the system that comes to say, welcome, you have been added onto the system. You've got this is your password, this is your login, this is this and that. So as soon as a new person joins, that prompting is put into whatever kind of AI machinery they're using.
That's correct.
This and that, and then what inductions to go for, what courses to do, what is the cyber security status of the company and all that. So this is all automated at the moment in a lot of organizations. So they're
correct,
as long as you're on the system, as long as they've said this new person is joining, automatically that thing is done. Compared to before, where people get lost in the system. Sometimes you join a new company, HR will contact you and say, okay, we will send you your login details, you will send in this, you will, and then 2 weeks or even a month later, you're still waiting and you're saying, I don't have login details. The computer, one part was sent to me, the other part wasn't sent to me. I wanted this, but with the systems they have in place now, that is all automated. AI already playing a crucial part in data integration.
And that applies to the IT industry as well. Where back in the days when we started, we normally would go on site to start installing, configuring clients and computers and and all whatnot. But Microsoft have done it such a way that is they've gone autopilots in the last couple of years, where we only just all we need to do is just put you on the system, give you a user's word, give you password. You go somewhere to pick up your machines, and all you need to do just put in your name, password, and every other thing is configured automatically. I think that's it.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So any other question? Okay, thank you for coming. And we actually finished on time, which is a minute to the read time of our finishing. So thank you for coming, and I see you next